Hello and welcome back to another FjordFish video. This day I'm out here fishing in Vikevåg Bay and I'll be fishing on this floating dock here. This is a 2-day video. Day 1, this floating dock. Next day, the one across the bay. Just kind of doing a little bit of a status report for myself to see what kind of fish is in the sea at the moment. The first day I'm fishing, there will be, this day, there will be 8 degrees Celsius in the ocean, so I figured it's probably about, you know, the time when there's going to be some decent amount of fish species. The next day that I fished, this day is the second from last day in April, and the next day is 12 days later in May. And on the May day, I didn't really check, all the weather reports before going out, but the air pressure was extremely high, so didn't really catch too much different species the second day. And this guy, I pulled it up and its eyes were popped out. Now I'm pretty sure I didn't pop its eyes up or out by kinda reeling it in there, as I've reeled in several fish here before and that's never really been the case. So maybe this guy's been caught deeper out at sea by someone else and they just reeled them in, because they go deeper. They go below like 50 meters depth or something, I believe, in winter times. So maybe someone caught them at a serious depth, because it can go pretty deep when it's colder in the weather, and they just released them. And so, well, I murdered it just to put it out of its misery. And this thing, these fish are pretty cool. It's a short-horn sculpin, or sea scorpion, or a bullhead. I think bullrout. Now bullrout is something else, but they have a bunch of names. Sculpin might not be the most popular one. In fact, I rarely hear anyone use it, but fishbase.de says that it's like equivalently common to some other names, and I think it's the one that sounds coolest, so that's what I'm going for. Now I was out there fishing for maybe 2 or 3 hours each day. Let's say 2 to 4 hours, somewhere in between. Probably just a couple of hours this time, if even that, to be honest. I was just out checking to see if there was fish to catch, and there was. The wrasse are back for the season, which is nice. In the second half, I will also be doing some WaterWolf underwater footage, so you can see the sediments on the bottom here, like what kind of what am I fishing on, basically. And it's sparsely vegetated, sandy thing. Now, this is a cuckoo wrasse, and if you ask me, it's one of the more beautiful fish you can catch in Norway, the male variety. The first fish I caught was also a cuckoo wrasse, but that was a lot redder. That's because there are males and females, and in the wrasse species, many of the wrasse species anyway, there are slight differences, but in this case there's actually a significant difference. They live in sort of harems. Sometimes, it's not like always true, but they have a tendency to kind of group up in harems, and there will be like one male and the rest will be female. And if the male gets caught or dies or something, disappears for any reason, one of the females will start having a gender change, which takes several months, but it will slowly turn blue and turn into a male. So this fish has the potential, this is a female, has the potential to become a male. I'm not sure if they're all born female or how that works, because I've seen some pretty tiny cuckoo wrasse, like just like 5-7 centimeters or something, that has been male, and that was a striking coloration to that. I might be mixing it up with something else, but I do believe I've seen pretty tiny cuckoo wrasse. Never caught any that tiny though. Anyway, so there's, as you can see, there's a lot of them here. A lot of male ones. And this guy urinated on me. It's all part of fishing, I guess. You gotta take the good with the bad. And in my experience, there's a lot more good than bad when you are fishing. Now, what I was primarily fishing with this day was shrimp. That seemed to be the most effective. I got like action all the time. I didn't always manage to set the hook on them. They're a little bit finicky, these wrasse, and there are also gold cine wrasse, which are tinier wrasse that are even more finicky, and they're notorious bait thieves. Yet another male cuckoo wrasse. Pretty nice colors on it. Now the colors might vary actually from well, nation to nation. Like I've seen some of them caught more like Mediterranean wise, and they're slightly different in patterns and such. So, and it depends. I have no idea what it depends on, honestly, but it seems like depending on your geolocation, so to say, there might be changes in the patterns and coloration based on that. Some of them can be quite yellow. I've never seen any of them yellow though. I've seen them well, mostly like this, like orangey in this hue. The depths that I'm fishing on here is well, it's about like maybe 30 to 50 feet. No deeper than that, possibly shallower. And here I am on the second day of, well, the 11th or 12th of May, or 10th of May or something, I think I was out here fishing. And I tried to walk like with a WaterWolf, just to kind of get like, I dropped it off in at shore, and I kind of just walked out with it, just drag along the bottom of the sea. But in my experience, WaterWolves are pretty crappy cameras, honestly. My first WaterWolf I had to return because it started leaking immediately, and kind of the circuitry got ruined due to no fault of my own. And it says it's recording, and then when you come back and check the footage, it hasn't recorded. So this is just a random footage from later, because I want to kind of show you how it looks underneath there. I was standing on the dock that I was filming on in the start of this video, and I had my WaterWolf pointing upwards from the bottom, and there was like a school of tiny fish coming by, and then a bunch of mackerel came in and attacked them, and it was a serious first thing. I was so lucky to catch that just above my WaterWolf, and I was just like, yes, I'm so psyched about this footage. That shit's gotta look awesome. And I come home, and nothing, didn't record. So it's really disappointing. You know, it's a 50-50 shot, and it's easy to lose it on. I've got it stuck so many times. You can see this flounder here. It's just, he's attacking the WaterWolf. You hear that? He slammed into the WaterWolf. He's following the WaterWolf and attacking it. And in many cases, when I'm fishing with the WaterWolf, I check the footage later. Many fish will just ignore the bait entirely, but they will be aggressive towards the WaterWolf. So I honestly think it's quite detrimental to your fishing experience, catching fish-wise, to use one of these cameras. Now, you can't fish on this part of this bridge. That's a no-no, because German fishing tourists ruined that for everyone. But you can fish out here. And apparently you can fish in there as well. I mean, I've fished here a couple of times, like, been out fishing with a mate here, and then some people came and said, oh, you can't be here, up there. You know, in a somewhat nice way, I suppose. But if I have a GoPro on me and I'm filming it, then I think people might not want to go and say anything, because they might think that, he might make me look like an idiot on the internet or something. So, you know, that's nice. Guess there's a benefit of having a GoPro. You can fish where you're not really allowed, because people don't want to seem like that foolish, angry person that says, no, you go away. Anyway, I mean, I usually respect the places where I go fishing. I try to clean up after myself and not leave a mess, you know, pretty much leave the place looking the way it was when I got there, so yeah. I mean, I smoke, but I usually take the cigarette butts or buds or whatever the heck you call it, and stick them in a bottle or something and take them with me and dispose of them in a proper way. Anyway, so I got my first flounder here of the year. Sand flounder. You can catch these any time of year, really. Like they take pretty cold water, and they go pretty shallow in cold water. There was a lot of fighting this guy for the size. He was not very large, but it was He's a good looking one though. He just really wants to attack the camera. And I didn't notice it, but this smudge is sadly gonna be here for the rest of the video now, because I didn't think to check that he might slam into the camera lens. I have it written down there as a dab, but I think the more common name, at least in the UK, is common dab. And they usually don't get very large. There was a lot of them here actually, and I also caught another short-horn sculpin, bullhead. They're pretty beautiful, these fish. I like the colorations. It doesn't really show that well on camera, but when you pull them up, they're like red and blue and green. They can be like all sorts of different hues of these colors. Not so much green, but like a greenish hint to it. This one was pretty brown and reddish, and he's got this. He's got these spikes for the fence, and I'm assuming anyway that they serve a purpose, and they're not poisonous or anything. I mean, you can cut yourself, or you know, they can penetrate your skin. Can't remember the actual English word for that right now. But yeah, so I lost one of the dab as it came up here, and I'm about to lose this one too. It's not really a big deal. I didn't land them, but oh well. I mean, I got to kind of show for myself that they're there, and the fishing season is definitely a go for this year. As I said, the barometric pressure, or how you say it, when I was out fishing this day, I think it's usually at about 1013 something value. It was more like 1060 or something when I was out this day. Like, it's been high lately, and I think maybe a lot of the fish kind of go deeper out into the sea when that happens, because I saw one wrasse on the underwater footage, and the other day I was just over there on the left hand corner of the screen, middle right hand corner of the screen now, you get what I'm saying. I could see a lot more. Oh, you know, I could catch a lot more. Let's have some underwater footage directly below. Like, I've been reading some maps on like water depth, etc. And this terrain looks a lot flatter when you get down there with a camera than it does on the maps. And oh yeah, well, here we got a cod attacking the camera. See, like, the bait is right there. He doesn't give a shit though. He's going for the WaterWolf. That's so often the case. Now, it's cool. I like to use the WaterWolf for filming underwater, but not really when I'm actually trying to catch fish. I like to have some bait to kind of try to lure the fish closer, but I have no hopes of actually catching anything when I got the WaterWolf out, because it's, in my honest opinion, a bad camera, and it's detrimental to catching fish. But here we got the stalking dabs. The criminal dab gang, yo. Coming in, stalking the prey. So there's two of them, and you can see the bait is behind them, and they're just following the WaterWolf. So, you know, we gotta remedy this situation, and how do we do that? Well, we strategically place our WaterWolf with a leaf between the WaterWolf and the bait. That seems to be the technique. So, here we go. Hiding the WaterWolf here, and the bait is behind it. Now, one of the dabs are coming in to check out the WaterWolf. And they're like, okay, let's split up. I'll check the WaterWolf, you check the bait out. And one guy goes for bait. I'm obviously not doing this on purpose. It's just randomly placed like this, so there's a separation between the camera and the bait, which is when they actually went for the bait. I mean, it's cool, you know, you can get like these overview footages here. You can see what to do, you can see what's going on down there without actually jumping down to check it out. So I like that with the WaterWolf. But there are many issues with it. It's hard to really get good steady footage unless you're fishing in certain specific ways that are not always the way you want to fish. Anyway, I decided to put that guy out of his misery and use him as bait. So this is that fish as bait on the hook you're seeing right now. And I decided to just kind of vertically drop it down and yeah, just see what happens. And I left it in there for like an hour, and no fish took. Usually there should have been a bunch of wrasse all over that bait in no time. I was kind of hoping to get some footage of that. Guess that's for another time. I'm not sure what these fish are. Maybe tiny mackerel? Not sure actually. They looked kind of mackerel-y, but I could be wrong though. So there is fish down here. But due to, as I said, the barometric pressure, probably a lot of them have migrated deeper out in the ocean. The flatfish, though, seem to be plentiful, but they're not really that interested in eating their own kind. And for some reason, every flatfish that kind of swam over to check this out also attacked the lead weight I got weighing it down. And then we see a dragonet coming in from the lower left. I have yet to catch one of these. I've kind of read up on a few techniques and tips on catching them. So I will be trying to go specifically for those fish one day soon. Probably in this location. A friend of mine caught one here. I've never caught one in my life. I've only seen one that's not been in an aquarium. And that's my friend that caught it. And as you can see, once again it attacked the lead weight. And there's a decent amount of flounders down here, as you can see, or dabs. I'm pretty sure, even though they got different colors, that it's dabs, the whole lot of them. There's another fish there as well, I'm guessing. Well, there's a couple actually, so it's dragonets. They can be really beautiful. You don't see it here, but like the males are really like shiny metallic blue, and they have like this huge fin that like it looks weird. It looks like kind of like a quill, sorta. A quill sail or something. See, there's some garbage floating around. Well, not exactly garbage, man. It's garbage down here as well. On the other side, there's like bicycles just dumped in the ocean. So it's not exactly beautiful. As you can see here, the cart's coming in, and it looks like he's kind of feeling it out with his beard. Looks like the whisker on the chin there, but he's not interested. I guess he didn't bite. He didn't bite whatsoever, and I guess the hook, he kind of stung himself on it, and it scared him away. It's my guess anyway. You can interpret it your way. As you see, lots of dabs. Like, okay, I'm trying a different way of doing this. I might be talking a lot right now. It's easier and simpler and quicker for me to just talk rather than write and edit to music. I should probably put some music in anyway, but I would appreciate if you could leave a comment if you actually bothered watching this far on, and if you've seen some other of my videos, like what works best for you, me talking or me shutting up and showing you some text and having some music. Because I'm honestly not this, I haven't decided on this yet. So I'm not sure what they're eating here. It could be flounder that fell down, but like, would the flounder eat flounder though? Like, they don't have to. There's plenty of food. I don't really know, but I'm gonna go fishing for dragonets one of the coming days, and the tip was to fish with like a gulp ragworm imitation, or just actually a ragworm, but they don't really sell those here anywhere, and the places where you can get ragworm here is basically underwater. I don't know of any spot in the near vicinity here where you can just go and get it in the sand or something. So I'm gonna use ragworm imitation, just a lot easier, a lot less work than wading out, and I don't have waders and that kind of thing. So yeah. And basically like a somewhat large hook, so you don't get the tinier fish caught up, like maybe a size 4, 6 or 4 hook. I was fishing with like a size 10 hook this day, As you can see, I really did not need a larger hook. If anything, maybe a smaller one. Oh well, no, I mean size 10 is certainly small enough. And once again, attacks the lead bait and swims away. But yeah, so like ragworm imitation, size 6 or 4 hook, and some shrimp on the ragworm there, on the hook. Anyway, that was it for this day, or these days. Didn't catch too much, but for this video anyway. And I hope it was somewhat enjoyable. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one if you feel like doing that. Peace.